ser sincero, estoy aficiado de tus besos. Sigo soñando entre tu cuerpo, enredado en tu cabello. Quiero devolver el tiempo, revivir esos momentos, saborearte de nuevo. Dime, mami, ¿qué hacemos? Baby, vuelve pronto, quiero sentir tu calor. Una vez más no dolerá. Quiero repetirlo como esa noche, mi amor, porque lo que me hiciste me puso loco. Y yo sé que no fui el único que sentí cuando nuestros cuerpos decían que sí. No te hagas, baby, déjame saber si vas a volver. ¿Qué quieres hacer? Que yo estoy puesto para ti.
It's your boys, Joey
And Dany. Mami, yo sé que quieres algo más. Esa carita me lo dice todo. Ay, me dejaste con ganas de hacerlo. Ay, de nuevo, hazlo de nuevo, baby. Quiero devolver el tiempo, revivir esos momentos, saborearte de nuevo. Dime, mami, ¿qué hacemos? Baby, vuelve pronto, quiero sentir tu calor. Una vez más no dolerá. Quiero repetirlo como esa noche, mi amor, porque lo que me hiciste me puso loco. Y yo sé que no fui el único que sentí cuando nuestros cuerpos decían que sí. No te hagas, baby, déjame saber si vas a volver. ¿Qué quieres hacer? Que yo estoy puesto para ti.
Oye, mami, qué suave.
Baby, vuelve pronto, quiero sentir tu calor. Una vez más no dolerá. Quiero repetirlo como esa noche, mi amor, porque lo que me hiciste me puso loco. Y yo sé que no fui el único que sentí cuando nuestros cuerpos decían que sí. No te hagas, baby, déjame saber si vas a volver. ¿Qué quieres hacer? Que yo estoy puesto para ti.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Diamond Rivera, and we are back at it with the live discussions with Diamond podcast. This is episode 205. Yes, I said it, 205. And we just heard was the newest single, Oficial, from our special guest tonight. And guys, I'm really happy that we can bring it back to the tri-state area, New Jersey to be exact. And I have the pleasure here of having two phenomenal artists, one by the name of Joey and one by the name of Dany. And these guys together have created some amazing new music in the bachata world. But it's also very important to understand the history behind that. And guys, right here we have representing New Jersey, New Brunswick, and Perth Amboy itself, Joey and Dany. Let's go.
What's up?
What's good? What's good?
What's up, my brothers? First of all, man, that song right there is killer. I'm loving it right now. Like, even while it was playing in the background, I don't know if you saw me shimmying away, but guys, you guys got a hit there. But first of all, I got to thank you guys for coming on tonight.
Nah, it's the pleasure's ours, bro.
Thank you, bro.
No, absolutely. I mean, for me as well, like I said, and as well, privately talking to you guys, there's always music going around. There's always new artists coming out. But for me, now having this platform for over 2 years, as well as I talk to dancers, I need to talk to the people making the music that make the people dance. And for me, hearing you guys' music, but also realizing how much history you guys have behind that, I think is way more important. For me, hearing Oficial, the first single, Sigo Bebiendo, and especially that music video was very interesting. Joey told me some great stories about that. But most of all, to see you guys are really musicians. We see now everybody wants to make music, but not everybody can make music. And I mean, seeing that you guys actually took the opportunity to work together, that right there was, a match made in heaven, I'd say. But before I go on, for me, my first question to you guys is, before we get into everything else, is how has 2022 been for you guys thus far?
It's been busy, but a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be honest.
Started it off by going to Reno.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun out there.
We dropped a single.
We're getting some shows coming up.
We're working in the studio every day, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's awesome because, again, as we've talked as well, realizing how the studio really played a role in actually having you guys come together. So, for many people who don't know, but before we get started, got to give a big shout out to Joel Music right here, showing some love.
Mi compadre.
For me, I think it's also important for people to understand where it all started. So for both of you guys, in a way, whoever wants to go first, kind of tell me what was it like growing up back in in Jersey, and what was your childhoods like?
Oh, my childhood?
Yeah.
All right.
Whoever wants to go first, Joey or Dany?
I'll go first. My childhood, it was basically around music because my dad's a musician. My cousin, my whole family, my grandpa. So my dad had a band at the time, and I was like 7, 6. We would practice in the basement. I'd be there watching, and also he had a studio at the time too. He was also like audio engineering. So that was my thing. Instead of doing video games, I was just doing music, doing something. I was playing guitar already, like I was already practicing like
early,
very productive at a young age.
Like,
and then oh man, I remember those days.
Yeah, so that was, there was times I go play basketball, go outside and stuff like that, but it was all music.
Wow, and that's special way. But before we get any really further, Joey, I do find that interesting because most people our age were, either outside or playing games or in sports. But for you, music really took that and kind of changed. So really, can we kind of say that cliche thing of kind of music changed your life?
Yeah. I still have the same hunger, the same ambition, like since like.
So wait, you said you picked up the guira. Are you trying to tell me that you picked it up and miraculously just knew how to just rock it?
I was told like at age 4, I was already playing like a rhythm like clean, like. I was ready going.
He sounded like a man playing that shit.
He sounded like a man with his heart broken.
I do have a video when I was 7. I wish.
Really?
I should have sent you that video. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I grabbed a bass guitar like at age like seriously like 14, 15 around there. But I was just hopping around different instruments, and the bass guitar was like the thing that I fell in love with.
Gotcha. So really for you, Dany, was it your story kind of similar, or was it in a different direction?
I feel like me and him are two very different people when it comes to that. Because I was the kid. I was obsessed with Nintendo, playing video games and all that. Playing outside and all that good stuff. But I was lucky enough to have a father who was also involved into music. Him and my cousin Eunel, they found a group called Nueva Era. They were a little popular back then in the 2000s. And I would just, they were my biggest influence. I grew up watching them, practice.
Yeah, you too.
and you know, I'd never really played. I never started playing at a young age like him, but I did pick up the guitar around 12 years old, and I got more serious about bachata around 14, like he did. And yeah, I just it due to that, I'm where I'm at today. You know, I started producing with him at around I was like 19, 18 around there.
Yeah, some
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was funny because I saw Joey kind of raise his hand. So were you also a fan of his father's music?
Oh yeah, I remember
Mm.
I remember their prime time. Like I was like probably like 10, 1 to 9 when they were.
No,
Who was younger
younger
than
than that. They broke up when me and you were like 9 years old.
So imagine I was
From
probably
younger
7
than
or
that.
6. So I remember them being like, and these TV shows like Criminal Noise or stuff like that.
Univision,
I remember that. Like
Telemundo,
I used to see that. I used to see his pops. Like, I didn't even know that. That was crazy. Like,
Wow. So,
That's
and then
crazy,
we got to give a big shout out here to DJ Dancito saying, "What up,
hey,
Joey and Danny's music is
Dancito.
always fire." They brought fire to Reno, and as well, we can't talk about Reno without talking about our boy Relio here. You know,
Hey.
Relio. That's the
gotta-
big man right there. Nah, he's the reason why we're even involved with the West Coast.
Yeah,
Relio, that's the
Facts.
man right there.
Listen,
Shout out to
big
Relio.
shout out to Relio. His music is popping as well. But hey, Joey, it's interesting you talked about this Guida because what's the name? Samantha Montalvo says Guida video coming up. I don't know if this is.
Ooh.
Exclusive right there.
I don't know. You know,
Exclusive.
you know. Listen, even Relio here says he wants to be like Joey. I mean,
Man,
Hey.
chill, bro.
but why
Appreciate
Joel? Even Joel saying he has the video.
Yeah,
Of him playing.
me and Joel, he's like my brother. Me and him, like we grew up together playing instruments. Him, my cousin, John Heido, they record all our songs. You know, the bongos and guira.
Mm-hmm. And so then, question is, you guys growing up in Jersey, many people really know, especially with bachata, and many people who don't know, there's a big, heavy Dominican population in Jersey in itself. But when it came to bachata, especially the Bronx, New York City was like kind of that hotbed for so many. I mean, for me, especially in the Heights, in the Bronx, in the, I would say mid 2000s, 2010s, a little up. Dembow, reggaeton was hitting, but especially bachata, that underground, because of course we had Aventura, but there was so many more artists coming out.
Yeah.
There's so many I can't even name, but in reality, for you guys, growing up was just all of that like influence of music coming in. Was it like overwhelming, or were you able to kind of pinpoint people that really like caught that sound for you?
You mean like our biggest influences at the time?
Yeah,
like,
in a sense, like, as you're younger, growing up in music, were there specific artists that like you really like love listening to?
Well, absolutely. Aside from Aventura, because everybody, Aventura's they're
legends.
They're legends. We have Extreme was a very big influence on both of us. Yeah, I think we could agree on that.
Nueva Era, of course.
Nueva Era. Monchi and Alexandra.
Toby Love.
Toby Love.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot. That was
a lot. Royce came out. Optimo as well.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Wow. So then when did you guys kind of then make, as you guys both doing music in one way or one or more capacities, did you guys ever kind of make that trip to New York and kind of get into that type of scene, or as you guys are growing up, what are you guys really getting into?
Well, yeah, I mean, remember we're also musicians, so I as well. I've played with Optimo. I currently play with Optimo. He's played with Carlos Rose, Extreme. He's had he's had the blessing to play with those people.
Yeah.
So plus, since the community is it's very tight, all of us musicians know each other, and even some of us artists know each other.
Yeah.
So it's not really like, the things that you see in the movies, like, oh, let's go take a trip to New York.
Yeah.
It's just
New York is like our second home, basically. So.
Basically, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I'm really glad I heard it like that, because I think people, when they hear of New York and they hear Jersey, just even the East Coast, they get this feeling. But I'm gonna be totally honest. Me being a Puerto Rican has been raised around Dominicans. If you're around that area for so long, it's normal. It's not like anything different, but for others, especially bachata, because what's interesting is as you and I have seen how bachata has grown in the last 5 to 10 years, I think we also both understand that there was a point that bachata was mainly in the small little lounges and the clubs and the parties, the underground parties. It was a different feeling. So, I mean, for really my question to you guys is, what was it like for you guys going to those underground bachata parties? Like for a person who has never been in that type of environment, what is it like?
It's lit.
I mean, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, no, but dancing, you know.
Well, back then,
back then was just dancing.
Back then, it was dance centric. Let's put it that way.
Gotcha.
You know, not necessarily sensual. You know, more traditional in a sense. You know, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. We keep it at that. No, none of these. You know.
I know. I know what you want to say. Listen,
No
but I gotta say this. Bachata has always been sensual, but the way it is now, it's evolved. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
It's fine though.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I just can't do that. It's fine.
We were raised a certain way. We look at that and we're just like, that's too complicated for us. We'll stick to our 1 2 3 4. But but yeah, man, it used to be a lot about the dancing, a lot about the drinking. You know, people would, you know, really feel those songs and just get drunk to them. You know, now it's more of a kind of like a bougie vibe now. If you go to those things,
if they go see a bachatero now, it's more like just sit down, hookah.
They get their hookahs. They're sitting, taking selfies.
Yes.
You know, very rarely you'll see anybody dancing.
And the artist there singing a popping song. It could be Medicina de Amor, and she's just there like,
yep.
You know, like, yo, enjoy that. You know, like.
And then that's why I'm glad I asked you guys, because for me as well, I definitely have seen the commercialization of bachata, just like with salsa, just like with different styles and genres. When it kind of comes out from the underground and gets a little more mainstream, the feeling of it is different.
Yeah.
And you guys then, of course, having that experience of being musicians, working with different artists. Joey, hearing of you working with the one and only Luis Vargas. And, you know, what was that feeling like of actually working with an artist like that many deem as honestly one of the legends in bachata?
Yeah, man, it was a dope experience. It was crazy. Shout out to Joel, actually, that put me on. And I actually recorded a song on bass for him, too. So I got to chill with him in the studio and, you know, vibe. It was cool. I remember the first performance, it was in Texas. I went basically without rehearsal. They sent me the tracks. I learned in the house, and I kind of knew already like their set list. So when I started playing, the intro, when he came up, he shook my hand right away. Like he was like, "Yo, you fire.
You're the man."
Like, yeah. I was like, I have a video too. I gotta find that. I was
listen, man, I can see that confidence in you. Like, listen, who's not gonna feel confident when an artist like that comes to you?
When
I was like, oh, damn, thank you. Like, and from there,
he's like, sign my chest.
Nah,
right now.
It was dope. I learned a lot too, like business-wise in the music too, you know, and I could bring that knowledge to the group, you know.
Man, and so then as well, I heard as well, for me, really, my introduction to really you guys was definitely during the pandemic, but even a little bit before as well, with Bachata Dreams, but also with, you know, those live studio sessions that our boy Melvin War representing Perfect Hand Boy. You know, for me as well, those live like studio sessions were really meaningful because, you know, not many, like for me, I loved watching and seeing creation of music and seeing that artistry, that musicianship of, you know, artists coming together, collaborating. And, you know, for you guys now, my question is, what was that moment for you guys of saying, hey, you know, we become musicians, Well, actually, what was that first introduction of you guys like when y'all first actually met one another? Do y'all remember?
Yeah, he thought I was weird as hell.
Damn, bro.
Gotta keep it real. Gotta keep it.
I'm keeping it a $150. Like I used to be.
Good time.
Well, I still am just very passionate about the genre, but we would often hold like little jams and stuff. So I decided to hold a jam one day up in North Jersey, in Kearney, New Jersey, and I happened to reach out to a mutual friend of ours called Rafi Segunda.
Yes.
He's also from Amboy, played with Bachata Dreams, and he pulled up with these guys, and we just jammed out for a while.
Yeah, but I've been knowing about him because in social media he would post playing guitar de quinto.
In 2013 we started like this little movement on Instagram of us guitarists playing bachata covers and stuff. And I just happened to be one of the first ones, and I just continued with it, and that's how he heard about me. But when we first met was at that jam, and we just, ever since we met, it's always been a vibe. We always found. I don't know. It's weird to explain.
Texting every day, and
but see, like it went from Joey thinking you was weird to like, yo, man, like something about you is key.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, yo, you're weird, man. But I like it.
It's a good weird. Not no.
Absolutely. I mean, because you would have been, again, everything happens for a reason. So that first that session was that start off point. But then, what was that moment of you guys saying, yo, we should actually start working together? Because I know you guys are going through the motions throughout the years, but what was that moment like, or what was it? Do you remember that moment from both of you's experience of making that decision to actually become a team?
Yeah, so that I actually I kind of had to beg to go to your house, to your studio. Remember? Yeah. So I just had a lot of respect for him and his peoples, right? So I was like, bro, could I go to the studio to learn? Like, I really want to get more involved with the genre. I want to learn how to produce. I want to learn how to record properly. And from there on out, I went to his house. I ended up going every weekend from there on out. We would just sit and record and just mess around with music in general, produce.
Man, so then
I think that train went, but
so then my question really for you now, Joey, is hearing that, because that's really kind of an act of humility of a person. You guys are musicians, but actually someone who's a friend of yours that is actually telling you like, hey, I was actually nervous. Like this, you're a person I, in a sense, really look up to and hold you in high regard. I mean, you might not have known it then, but what is that kind of like to actually hear that?
Nah, man, that's inspiring, And it's crazy because we spoke today. I was like, yo, like,
I believe in what we have. Like, what we have is just magic.
I believe in you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this project is something special. Like, like I was just hablando de corazón, So, when we was working in the studio and stuff like that, I saw his ambition. Like, he wants to do this. Because sometimes when they start,
I want to do
like,
this for today, but I don't know.
We would talk every day about music.
When I tell you, I would bother this man 24/7. Bro, what are we doing this weekend? What are we doing this weekend? What are we doing? And then we would stay up till 6 in the morning.
And that was before deciding to do the group. That was for fun. For fun.
That's
so
tough.
And during pandemic in 2020, we was working through FaceTime.
Yeah, during the pandemic, through FaceTime, we came up with a lot of ideas. Actually. That's crazy.
Yeah,
and it spent about like 6 months. We came out with like 15 songs. We wrote them down and then produced them.
Wow. See, like, hey, listen, and Joey, like you said, there's a person that reached out to you about working with you, and some of us have been through those experiences of people tell us one thing and do another, but you actually seeing like, this person's serious. But now you guys actually start making music together, and that first single Sigo Bebiendo. What was that experience like for you guys?
Nerve-wracking, stressful.
So during that time that he was coming and like before making that band and all that, that song was part of those times.
Yeah, that song was actually written in 2018
with Miguel,
with a friend of ours, Miguel Music, who's currently the lead guitarist for Woven Bello.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he sat down with us. We were just coming up with ideas, and we just said he sat down and strummed the guitar, and we are like, yeah, we like that chord progression. Now let's add this, let's add that.
Like, let's do una canción de pa bebé, to drink, something old school, traditional, and we just did that.
We just built off of each other, man. And
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I heard the song as well, and I loved it. But what's even more interesting was the music video. I saw kind of where it was going, but for you guys to actually have a music video, going from the stages of meeting one another to actually being in the studio with sessions, to making that decision to work together, to actually putting out your first music video, did you guys kind of have that moment of like, oh, this is for real? Like, now we're really doing
this. Yeah, bro. When we got there to record the video, we would just look at each other and be like, damn, bro, this is really happening right now.
Yeah.
We woke up that morning, 6 o'clock, drove to Brooklyn, shot it at a bar out there, and we were just sitting there the entire time like, damn, bro, this is all for us right now. We had like a group of like 16 people there.
Yeah, shout out to them too, man.
Yeah,
they helped us out.
Noel, S Generation,
Jeffrey, all those people, they helped us out. They made everything possible.
They made the dream possible.
Yeah.
Hey, that's special. And then now, of course, you guys are on your second single, Oficial. But now my question to you guys is, going from that old school kind of class in a sense, it's hard to say old school, but for me, it's that old school style of bachata back in those 2000s and 2010s, before it really became popular globally. When going from those times to now, what did that moment feel like of you going from Jersey to now entering into that bachata world? Like, how did that introduction come about?
Well, I've been knowing about that since
very young. Not very young.
I'm talking about like the new thing now, the new
wave, the central wave.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like how, because going from the clubs and the bars now.
Yeah.
What was that introduction really to the festivals in that dancing world in a sense?
Yeah. So I've been knowing about that since like maybe 2015, 2016. I seen videos, stuff like that. I know in Europe it's very big.
Yeah.
Like now West Coast, like it was like now I was like, oh, West Coast is also it's a wave out here.
Like it's something that we saw but we didn't take serious, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like we were like, okay, these guys, and then when we went out there for the first time, it was a mind-blowing thing. We went out there with Relio, actually. Relio flew us out there to
he said you hit the body road too. I don't know what's that. I don't know if he's putting you on the spot there.
I don't know about that. That's Relio, not right now. Not right now. I am not gonna give a demonstration, bro. Out of here. But yeah, we went out there with Relio. He flew us out to play with his band, and we went crazy. We haven't seen like a Dominican party fill up with people dancing in years. So for us to see people dancing to bachata music like they were that night where we played with Relio, we were just we something clicked and we're like, yeah, we have to throw some stuff out there because these people are what's popping right now.
And also they
really support.
They support like they support the underground bachateros too. Like,
no, absolutely.
Follow.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Oh no, got you. No, but it's interesting that you say that because for a person who's not in that world, for other people who are in that world. When I see my Dominican friends, especially from New York, going to an event like this, they're like, in all honesty, they're like, what is this? And at the same accord, I have to also understand they're not in this world. So
Right.
you don't understand in the sense that when it came to bachata dancing, when the bachata dancing kind of started in New York, little parties here and there, it was more to the Prince Royces, the Aventuras, the Extremes.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, Joey, was that evolution, or you saw Spain and how
Yeah.
they had their own
Yeah.
rendition of it. And then what happened was, in my opinion, who had a big influence on this was actually Romeo. And the reason I say this was because when Romeo started doing music with Usher and other artists,
Okay. Yeah.
that led to a different demographic of people who may not understand Spanish, but they understand Usher and Drake, and they understand these influences, and now they're interested. And then you start seeing the music starts to evolve into, then instead of just the quote unquote underground, then you're blending in top 40s. And we're gonna be honest here, when we talked about hearing an Adele bachata for the first time, it was, trust me, when I heard it, I had to kind of, and me, I'm in this world, like I know people, I travel, I film, but it still baffles my mind that I'm going from hearing Prince Royce's or the Aventuras and the JRs and the Johnny Skies and different artists, and then I'm hearing Adele and I'm hearing Hotline Bling bachata remixes. And listen, we have a demographic for everyone, but I also understand those people like us and others that come from when it wasn't that. And it's like, sometimes it is hard to accept, but we understand music evolves. But my question to you guys is, going, from those clubs and going to an event like Reno, which Reno Latin Dance Fest is one of the biggest events I've ever seen. I haven't even been to, but I know I've seen in years. Like you said too, I could hear it in the conversation. You guys said that love, because you guys were coming from somewhere else. Like, what was that love and that feeling like for you guys? I know you kind of touched on it, but did you guys kind of have that moment to like let it all sink in and what it meant to you guys?
Yeah, when we were singing the song on stage, like the guitar solo was playing, right? And I put the mic down, I looked at him, I'm like, bro, you see this right now? This is people singing to our song.
Yeah.
They're showing mad love. They're going crazy over something that me and you created in your basement.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was a good feeling.
And then we got a little emotional, and then we just kept rocking with it. We're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Hey, listen, that's the first little bug. But like you said, when you actually create and literally you're watching people react to what you create. And it is that feeling of a musician when their music comes on the radio or they're doing a concert and you have people that have been influenced by y'all, and now they're fans of you. The same people you may be fans of years ago, maybe nowadays they're fans of you guys. And a lot of us, trust me, the biggest critic in life is us. Before anyone else can tell us who we are, we already are putting those pieces together. And, for me as well now, and in the year 2022, kind of from when you guys started during the pandemic, essentially, starting this group, and now in 2022 and going to events like Reno, really now before we get into our segment called The Randoms, is what really is on the horizon for Joey and Dany that we can speak of? Because I know you guys have some projects privately, but, what's some good things or some new things on the horizon?
Dile.
No, we can't talk about that, bro. We can't talk about that. No, I'm kidding. We have some things in the works as far as we would like to perform the songs, have an actual live band and perform it, throw that out there on the platforms.
Like an unplugged.
An unplugged video with a live band, promoting the live aspect of bachata, which is also very important.
Yes.
And we also are currently on album mode, as we like to say. We're currently working on an album. Hopefully we'll announce its release by the end of the year. We
don't know. We got no dates.
We have no dates yet. Until everything's prepared and everything's set in motion, there will never well, not never, but there will not be an announcement. You know, we want to make sure that this rollout is good, it's done right,
Something special too.
and make sure that it's done with everything in our hearts. You know, blood, sweat, and tears. Make sure that it's something that makes a difference when it releases.
Man, that's special. I mean, hey, listen, as artists, you have to go on your own path. And now realizing that, you know, besides the collective of people you've been around for years, but now really that dance world has been embracing you guys, I think it's really special because, listen, you know, for me, being in this world, I love all of the music that DJs and others are creating. But for me, nothing is better than live music and actual artists singing their music that people can appreciate. Because listen, you know, and then actually, to be honest with you guys, like, it is special when you have two artists or artists on a stage singing their music, interacting with the crowd, because those are the consumers. Those are the people
Absolutely.
that are going to remember you and refer you to events. And again, I really hope, and I know for a fact that more events will be calling you guys to come around. And actually, before we get into our last segment called The Randoms, this video I would really love to play. I know we talked about Sigo Bebiendo, but one of my favorite videos of you guys was the Bachata acoustic medley. So is it okay if I play this before we get into our last segment?
Absolutely. Those are our biggest influences, man.
Absolutely. So guys, again, right before we get into our segment called The Randoms, check out this amazing Bachata acoustic medley by the one and only Joey and Dany. See you soon.
El tiempo pasa y yo sigo así, queriéndote en mis brazos sin poderte tener, y busco una salida para no verme así. Ay, que lejos de mi lado tu amor está de mí. Yo lloro y lloro al saber que no estás con mis labios. Mira, mami, yo te quiero besar. Y trato por no sentirme así, pero es malo saber que no me quieres a mí. Mira cómo estoy sufriendo, me quemo por dentro por sentir tu amor. Sabes que te quiero con todo el corazón. If tomorrow you feel lonely, it's okay. Te prometo, princesita, volveré. Please stop the crying, se me va el avión. When you miss me, pon nuestra canción. Aquella canción de amor que nos fascina a los dos. The song we always play when we make sweet love. Me da pena so let to go. No me digas adiós. Anoche soñé yo contigo del amor que perdimos, del amor que tanto he sufrido y ahora estoy perdido. Tú me decías que me amabas, pero a mi espalda tú me engañabas. Por eso es que nuestro amor ha fracasado. Tal vez no sabes cuánto te amé, pero siempre lloré. Aunque tú nunca, mi amor, lo hayas notado. Tus labios me decían te amo y tus ojos me rechazaban. Por eso que hoy yo, mujer, ya no te creo. Yo te amé, te adoré, no te quiero ver, y sufrí
play that at my next wedding, man. Y'all too much, man. I'm about to hire you. Listen. When I have my wedding renewal with my wife, I'm definitely want to have you guys because listen, me and my wife met at a bachata festival, so man, that was special in itself, and that right there, like you said, guys, was songs that influenced you guys in your career. So that was also special.
Absolutely.
Man, and so now I think it's great to now head into our last segment called the randoms, which is about 5 to 10 questions that I have for you guys that I've kind of dived up here as we've talked, and they may deal with bachata, they may deal with life and everything in between. So all I need to know is when you guys are ready.
Ready. I was mentally preparing myself for this.
Trust me, man, it's gonna be fun and lighthearted. All right, number one, between both of you, who's the better dancer?
You got the moves, dog. You got the moves there, bro. I stick to my 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm stiff with it. Well, I appreciate it. He got these weird tricks. I gotta give it to you, bro. I gotta give it to you.
All right. Next question here. Of course, you guys are in a extroverted type of world where you gotta be social and everything. But with the both of you guys, who is an extrovert or an introvert, or both of you guys the same, maybe?
He's more of an introvert. I also am an introvert, but lately I've been a little bit more outgoing, as part of trying to get myself more used to being involved with music and performing, just trying to be a little bit more outgoing. So I guess I'm the extrovert, he's the introvert.
In between.
Yeah.
Hey, you could be the middle. You could be an introverted extrovert, all in between. So I definitely respect that. All right, next question is, all right, if you guys aren't creating music per se, what would you guys be doing right
now? That's a rough one, man. Because
we've been at it, bro.
We sacrifice a lot for music. We produce also. Yeah, so we're in this 100%. If we're not doing music, man, I think we'd be wasting our time flipping burgers at Burger King or something.
No, he said, "Nah, man, I can't flip no burgers with you, man. I can't flip those burgers." Hey, this ain't no slight on anybody flipping burgers. But listen, I understand. Like when your heart or your mind has been really set from when you were young, it's hard to think about doing anything else. So I definitely appreciate those answers. All right, this one should be interesting. So for the both of you guys, being in this bachata industry, in this world for so many years and being influenced from your families as well, can you give me like one of your favorite things about bachata as a whole?
Sentimiento. I agree, bro. It's the feeling that it gives us when we hear that. When you hear that song, and it makes you think about, something that had happened to you in the past, or something that you relate to, that's the feeling that we absolutely adore about the genre. It makes us want to grab a drink, or maybe we want to dance, or we want to pick up our instrument, or, it's all about that feeling, man.
The connection.
Oh, yes, absolutely. All right, our next question here is, if you could have one last meal right now, what would it be?
That's my last meal.
That's mad basic, bro. If I'm gonna no. If I'm gonna have my last meal, it has to be those quesadillas from Garibaldi's. We go there's a Mexican spot around his house, bro. We go all the time to eat, and I always get the quesadillas because I'm just crazy about it. But yeah, my last meal has to be those quesadillas, bro.
That's my rice and beans.
Okay, listen, some quesadilla and some rice and beans together. Like, listen, Teamwork make the dream work. All right. All right. That's very interesting. So this next question I would say is, what's your favorite hobby? But I actually want to warp that question and say, I know Danny, you've talked about you played video games as well as you. Am I correct, Joey?
What was that? Sorry.
Did you guys both play video games as
I
you were
did.
young?
I did, but not like him. But I did.
So, what game right now, Danny, are you like extremely good at or very competitive in?
Call of Duty, man. Call of Duty.
This one now, and I like that you said that. So let me ask you a question, Joey. Do you believe that Danny is a camper?
I don't think he knows what that means. Camper means like I'll be staying in one corner, like shooting people, or do I be running around like a crazy?
Do he really be playing, or do he just like to hide? Or
you playing?
I be running, bro. I'm diving into it.
Hey, no, I only asked that because I wanted to see what his friend would say. I wanted to see if he said, he'll do his thing, or he's
It's how.
That's how. All right, this one should be definitely interesting then. Can you both give me one word to describe yourself? So, Joey, you will describe yourself as well as Danny.
Okay. One word?
One word, yep.
Humble.
Always taking my words, god damn it.
Hmm.
I wanna say fearless.
Okay. All right. Of course, Joel here says, Joey on the VR, the virtual reality.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man, your boy's be coming for you. All right, so this one should be really interesting. Of course, I asked you to give one word to describe yourself, but can you give one word to describe each other?
Coméntalo. Start it off, bro. All right, I'll start it. Driven.
He motivated you right there, Joey. He gave you that.
Yeah, bro. If I'm not doing something, he's always there backing me up.
Motivated.
Sorry.
Driven and motivated. I like the. Listen, that's perfect. At least it was positive.
It works.
There you go. All right, let's get to our second to last question. So this one's a little more introspective. What would you both say to your younger self? So if both of you could look back when y'all first started even picking up an instrument, what would you say to your younger self?
I would say, don't worry about all the BS. Keep doing your thing, because eventually you'll get there. Practice makes perfect, and how can I say this? Like, never give up on your dream. Because there have been times where I've definitely put the guitar down. I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. But I eventually picked it back up. I would just let myself know that there's going to be some rough times, but you'll move past it eventually.
I'm in his side. I agree with him too. If you have a talent, use it. Don't stop. Keep going. Doesn't matter if struggles, up and down. Go. Just do it. Because at the end of the day, it's what you love. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Hey, listen, sometimes you got to get yourself that real talking to, that tough love, and in order to understand what your worth is and your journeys is all about. All right, now it brings us to our last question. And this one should be very interesting because I'm wondering what both of your answers will be. So our last question here is Anthony Santos or Luis Vargas?
Anthony Santos.
Oh, yeah. The thing with you.
The thing with me is like, I don't have my favorite artist. It's just they both have different styles.
Yeah. Of course.
So it's like
right, but who do you prefer to listen to?
If you're in the car right now, and You could choose to listen to one or the other right now. That first song, which artist?
Has to be Anthony, bro.
Yeah.
Them crazy ass merengues.
Yeah, Anthony Santos. I grew up to more Anthony Santos than, well, both, but Anthony Santos was always like
The most influential,
yeah.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it. And guys, again, thank you so much for doing this segment. Trust me, I know you guys are mentally prepared for all these crazy questions, but I think you've seen it. They're fun and lighthearted, but also it gives us an insight into kind of who you guys are as people. Because honestly, even as we're into our conclusion of our talk tonight, the one thing I wanted people to take from this is, of course, we can appreciate the artistry. We can appreciate the hours on in the studios, the blood, sweat, and tears, as they say, the dedication, the motivation, the driven focus. But I think most people really can see from this is how good of human beings you guys are, because I think that's also something that gets lost in our type of entertainment world. Is we're going a mile a minute, we're going a song by song, we're going a show to show. And a lot of times the people who are fans of us or have an interest in us don't get that time to actually connect with us. And I definitely believe in the time that we had here that we actually connected. Like for me, I've been a fan of y'all's music for a while. So now having this opportunity to showcase you guys, appreciate you guys, and tell you guys from one artist to another, thank you for what y'all do. It means a lot having y'all here, because you guys are the future of music, in my opinion. Because again, what it always happens is there's always these moments of someone believing in you guys, and years later it pops. And again, for me, if I see people who are focused on their goals, I'm gonna support them 1,000%. But at least before we do go, I'd love to know if you guys had any last few words for myself and the audience, but also contact info on how we can reach you guys and see what you're up to next.
You can follow us on our social medias. Joey X Dany. Dany with one N, not two.
With a Y.
Yeah. As far as any other words, man, nothing much other than it was an honor to be here. This is our first interview ever. So, having this here with you, it was comforting.
Thank you.
To say the least. You know what I mean? Like it was great vibes. We felt comfortable. It was a lot of fun. And we hope to meet up soon, man.
Absolutely. I mean, trust me, for you guys, as we talk, you never know. We might even, I bet any money we'll definitely see each other at a social, and then bring this type of environment and this comfort publicly. And, again, I pray, and I want these organizers that I'm talking to, because we actually had some organizers here. I had to give a big shout out to Mal Mambo, part organizer of the San Francisco Salsa Bachata Kizomba Congress. And listen, you never know what could happen here. And honestly, I really would love to see you guys at events, a lot of festivals and congresses, because trust me, these dancers want that live music. And listen, people, these artists are the future. Here at the podcast, we support them 1,000%. And we thank you guys for tuning in. This has been episode 205 of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast. I'm Diamond Rivera here with the one and only Joey and Dany. And this has been an amazing episode, guys. You never know where you'll see them next. Everyone take care. Have a good night. See you soon.